A very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evan Sokinyi. It's my pleasure to have you on board on Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show. This afternoon, I'm joined here by Wakili Willis Otieno, who is my resident guest, as well as the Deputy Party Leader of Safina Party. Wakili, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for joining us and for making time for us on this special episode of the Candy Talk. I wonder, or rather, it's not even me who wonders, but where is your party leader and where are you in terms of engagement with Kenyans? Because Kenyans have seen Jimmy Wanjigi, Honorable Jimmy Wanjigi, at least attend several meetings with the opposition leaders. And yet, the other time when we had a conversation with you, you told me here that you were totally with Kenyans and that you'll only discuss or rather engage with leaders with whom your kind of ideology aligns. They are here saying that now that you people are actually moving with Kalonzo and Karua and even Rigathi Gachagua, what is happening here?
You have not seen us doing any political activity with any political leader. What we had was Mother Karua invited us to the launch of a party. Of course, she is a friendly person to us. And we have to show support for her when she's launching a party. It's not a bloodbath between us and them. So there's what we call camaraderie. We can always caucus as a team. But that doesn't mean we belong to PLP. She has her own ideology, she has her own party, she's running it. We have our Safina, Safi Sana na Wanjigi, we're running it. Even the conversation we've had with other leaders, if somebody calls you for a meeting, you go and discuss. Go and talk. But you are not going to see us form any coalition with anybody to share seats. If we are to form a coalition with anybody, it will be a coalition to discuss and to deal with the pain of the people of Kenya. Economic liberation. That we are going to sign that coalition agreement very quickly. When we say, this is the problem of the country, the economy is stupid. These are the solutions. And we all commit to undertake A, B, C, D. That looked at by any prudent person, they will see how it will change the economy. That is our coalition agreement we will sign quickly. It becomes a coalition of the people of Kenya, not a coalition of leaders. Because everybody must see what we are going through as a country. The pain of our people, the collapse of our economy, the collapse of institutions, the dilapidating healthcare system, the failed education system. Our universities are not going to school. Our borders are harassed here every day by venture capitalists who are giving them credit at onerous terms. Those are the things which we'll be discussing. Those are the coalition terms of a coalition agreement, that if we are to join a coalition with anybody, if there's any other person who is of like mind, we can sign a coalition agreement any day. But what I said that I still insist on, Safina Party will not join a coalition to distribute seats to a kubwa. The coalition will be on how to transform this economy, how to give voice to the voiceless, how to give hope to our people. These are our young people who have finished school and can't get jobs. How do we spur this economy? How do we stimulate it that the economy can create jobs, that people will be able to do jobs that are commensurate with their qualifications? People are able to access capital, credit, so that they can be able to put their ideas or inventions into profit. That is the kind of a conversation we'll have. You saw me in Siaya the other day, meeting with the farmers. And we had in the congregation over 36 women groups doing farming activities and trying to commercialize them. We are sharing with them ideas on how to boost. If you had 10 chicken, how do we get your chicken production to 50? If you are doing bee farming, how do you increase your hives from 20 to 100? That's the conversation that Safina Party is having. How to value add. That is the coalition we'll be interested in. And that's the coalition we are seeking. A coalition that improves the lot of the people of Kenya. How do we get new markets for our produce? How do we make sure that farmers or our young people or our business people are able to get access credit at more reasonable credit terms, not 20% interest rate? How can it come down to 5% interest rate? So that people are able to access and put profit to their inventions. That is what we're interested in. That's what Safina Party is doing.
Well, is your party actually in some sort of a working relationship, or rather working with, rather, let me say, can you work with the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua?
Work with him on what?
Because he's actually part of, we've seen him, we've seen your party leader attend actually a meeting where he also attended.
I've explained to you that work on what? Rigathi Gachagua is not our enemy. He's not the one superintending over the economic pain of the people of Kenya.
Do your political ideology align?
That's what I'm telling you. So if we are to work together, if we are in agreement on the ideology, on a people-centered governance, then we can. But we've not had that kind of a discussion that I can say, I know what his ideology is. I don't know. I know what our ideology is, and I know the kind of relationship we want to have with people. So if it happens that when I have a conversation with him or his team, and we see that the ideology and ours there, then we can work together. But if we are working together to share seats, I'm sorry. But Safina Party is not in
even if you don't, you definitely you can't tell us that you don't know his ideology, because
do you know his ideology? Do you know his ideology? Okay, let me ask you. Do you know his ideology? Tell us. Do you know his ideology? At least for what I know, his public profiling is very clear on the source of the problem. That we're in agreement. That William Ruto's economic policies is problematic. It's causing us pain. And his governance has messed up the country. That we agree.
Okay, that you agree.
But after Ruto, in fact, at the Martha Karua party launch, Jimmy Wanjigi was emphatic. Ruto going is done. What next? That was the question he posed. He posed the question, what next? It can't be the what next is I become deputy president, Jimmy becomes president, somebody becomes. That can't be the what next. The what next should be about the people. What made the people leave William Ruto? Otherwise, as he warned, we'll remove him, replace him with ourselves, and in 6 months' time, the people will be back on the streets demanding for a removal.
Okay.
That is why I'm insisting to you. I want you to understand this.
Yes.
The conversation should be about what next, what are we doing that will make us not find ourselves in the position that William Ruto found himself in, where people will be on the streets begging for his blood. As we've understood that the problem is the economy. So the what next should be, what measures do we need to take to revive this economy, to empower our people, meaningfully, not through promises? What are the hindrances they're facing in their interactions with the economy? How do we remove those hindrances? What can we do to stimulate the growth of the economy? That is what we are interested in as Safina Party. And if Rigathi finds himself in that space, yes, we can work together. He's not the one responsible now.
But he's not a new persona to Kenyans in terms of the kind of politics that he plays.
The point is this. That's the kind of politics that was accommodated in Kenya Kwanza. Kenya Kwanza is about division. It's about the big man. That was their politics then. But he was kicked out of that politics. So I don't know if he has moved on from that politics and has acquired a new ideology. But what I do know is that he is against that politics.
Okay.
He speaks against Kenya Kwanza and William Ruto. That I do know.
But he says, but he says here that he's coming up with a party that will ensure that never ever will his community be left out of any political arrangement.
When it comes to political arithmetic, I mean tribal arithmetics, we are not in that politics. If that is his politics, that's the ideology. Then I'm sorry, we are not. Then we cannot join a coalition. I've told you what else we stand for. What kind of coalition we want. But if, as you say, his ideology is about Morima, then I'm sorry.
Not if that is what it does.
No, I'm saying if. I don't know, but if it is, I am not, and Safina Party is not in that conversation. As our coalition, I've told you, is people-centric. Economic liberation. People-centric economic liberation. And you come with tangibles, not just lofty promises. Tangibles that the people will say, you do this, we can see how it impacts.
Okay.
If it comes to that space, we can form. But if it is about joining communities, then I'll give you an emphatic answer. We are not interested.
Here comes a situation where for him, politics is actually, is local in the first place. The next thing is that politics is about numbers. So the former deputy president comes on board and says, look, I am coming here with numbers from the mountain.
From where?
We are coming here. Just listen to me. From the mountain, I'm coming here with a whole bag of votes. As he said, because he said here that, look, our people made President William Ruto the president because we voted for him overwhelmingly. Then he decided to betray us. What did he give us in return? So it's like, we are bringing the numbers. What do we get? That is the kind of conversation that we've been seeing him having. So therefore, you are saying that if at all that is the idea, then we do not expect you to actually work with him.
We are not going to work with anybody who is saying, let's vote on tribal numbers. Because as I've said numerous times on this channel, the problems that the Kikuyus are facing on the economy are the same problems the Kalanyes are facing on the economy, are the same problems the Luos are facing on the economy, are the same problems Masais are facing, Turukana. Go down the entire list. The problem is universal. It knows no tribe.
Okay.
If your proposed solution is tribal caucusing, then I insist, we are sorry as Safina Party. We are not part of that conversation. Because the last we checked, there is no special shop for Kikuyus. There is no special shop for Kalenjins. There is no special shop for Luos. There is only one common shop for all Kenyans. When Kenyans are not able to participate in the economy because of a failed economic system, there is no special shop open for Kikuyus to go and shop from. When people are jobless, it is not just Kikuyus who are jobless. It is even Luos, it's even Kalenjins, it's even Costarians, it's even Masai. Everybody faces this. When shift share is not working, it's not working for everybody. That is why, as we are very clear, and we are emphatic that we are going to campaign on issues, not tribes. But Rigathi, Gachagua, or whoever desires to campaign on tribe as a basis, it's okay.
Okay.
It's their right. And the Kenyan people will decide. If the Kenyan people decide they want tribal politics and they vote for people based on their tribes, it's okay. That's democracy. But I do believe there are many Kenyans today who are more alive to the fact that tribe is a platform used by legacy politicians to divide us. That our challenges are actually universal. It knows no tribe. And there are many Kenyans who want a political conversation that is issue-based and ideology-based.
Okay.
Those are the Kenyans we are appealing to. But if there's still another Kenyan who thinks that his main problem as a country today is tribe, then there's enough shops in the market they can go to shop in those political parties. We have no problem with that because it's their democratic right.
Okay.
We will not force them to come and discuss issue-based politics if their interest is only to discuss tribal-based politics. It's their right.
Okay.
We have no problem. Let them do it. Then let those of us who want to create a country that benefits everybody also do our politics. And we are saying, in fact, at least for us, ours will be an inclusive regime. A regime that looks at all Kenyans fairly and creates an enabling economic environment that benefits everybody, the tribalist and the non-tribalist. At least the other side, we know that's the Kenya Kwanzas who believe in tribal, and the legacy politicians who believe in tribal caucusing. At least we know that their model, by its nature, will exclude certain groups.
Okay.
Our plank, on the other hand, is inclusivist. It includes everybody. You come up with these interventions that impact everybody irrespective of their tribe.
You've got a very bright idea, and of course, very good idea. I've seen how you've actually identified and isolated the problem that we are facing as a country and the solutions to these problems. You're saying here that Safina Party has got all the answers. Well and good, a very good idea. But then, of course, you also need people who can actually be able to help you push this particular agenda. Now, if at all these people assume, let's just assume that they are on the other side of the political divide, let me say maybe opposition, and you decide to bring them on board on the basis of them aligning with your ideology. Assuming you go ahead and win, won't we then see these people appointed as CSS and all that? And won't that get back to the same idea of sharing oppositions that we were talking about here?
But for them to come in, you've said they will come in by buying into our ideology, not their ideology. So if they buy into our ideology, then we agree that we put aside the tribal plank.
Okay, so
the tribe is out. So if you are coming into an administration, you are coming to work on the ideology of economic liberation, not tribal jingoism. Yeah. So it will not be a problem. And it can be anybody who is competent to do the work. So it becomes, this is what needs to be done, and this is the person to do it. It can be anybody who is a Kenyan and who is qualified to do the work. Because what is our interest? Our interest is not to get positions for big people. Our interest is to change the economy.
So are you therefore trying to say that when it comes to you, then we are not going to expect any sort of coalition agreement, if at all you get into any?
I have said we are going to form a coalition only on a people-centric economic liberation agenda. If there is such a coalition that is proposed, we will be part of it. But if there is a coalition that is proposed to share positions for big men, we are sorry, we are not interested. And we can stay even the two of us. And those Kenyans who believe that we need to change our politics. And we are very intentional about it. Almost radical in our approach. That this politics of tribes, this politics of ethnic big men, it has led us here. So how do you think you're going to change the country? By applying the same arithmetic, applying the same formula. It has led us here.
Okay.
We will not be where we are. And we draw inspiration from the Gen Zs. So we didn't see any tribe leading the onslaught during the Gen Z revolution. It was Kenyans speaking issues. Of course, you believe that maybe we will not succeed. But even nobody believed the Gen Zs will succeed. They were called all manner of names.
No.
They were called Twitter what and KFC eating, Uber driving, junkies. We saw, even until today, what is happening is just a reaction of what they did. So, we move in faith and a strong conviction that the politics of this country has changed. The old has given way to the new. And the new is a nation that is united on issues, not on tribe. And you are going to witness tribal jingoists going out on a campaign trail telling you the problem is Kikuyu.
Okay.
The problem is Kalenjin. It's not.
Okay.
William Ruto does not represent Kalenjins on the table of leadership. He uses that as a plank to hoodwink voters. So if somebody tells you our problem are Kikuyus, Kikuyus are not anybody's problem. Our problem as legacy politicians who uses tribe to divide Kenyans.
Okay.
And our problem today is the economy. An economy that has collapsed because of the failed policies of legacy politicians. Let's try something new. And I do have faith. This new shall conquer. And the voice of the people on the issue that they concern the most, the economy, will carry the day. We go through elections.
Conquering you shall, but you must strategize before then.
But this is part of what we are doing. We are strategizing on the economy.
Okay.
We are saying the strategy should be on the economy. If the strategy is going to be on tribe, where you're trying to put me into, that is a hole I will not enter.
I'm not actually trying to put
I
you
will not
into
enter that hole to say that for purposes of convenience, it is far much easier to win an election based on tribal mobilization. I am sorry.
How do you solve an economic situation without winning an election?
We are going to win that election by marshalling as many people as possible who believe that the country can be changed when the issue, our politics is issue and ideology based as opposed to tribe. You are trying to tell me to go the convenient, the traditional, the used, of just do tribal arithmetics, bring more people. No, let me finish. Do tribal arithmetics, go and campaign as Kikuyus, go and campaign as Luos, go and campaign as Kalenjins. Then you look at the numbers, Kikuyus are the majority, mix them with Luos. I'm sorry. That is not our politics. Jimmy, as our leader, is very clear. The issue is the economy. He is not going to stand up there, speak Kikuyu, to please Kikuyus. That is lying to them.
Okay.
We are not going to start our politics based on lies. That has been the plank over the years. It has led us to the economic challenge we are facing today. Why do you want us to go back to that? We've rejected it.
Okay.
So if you still believe that is the cause, okay, it's your right. Join it. There are so many people in that space. You can join them. And let us create our path, this unbeaten path. Because this path we are championing is the unbeaten path. Is the long road ahead.
Yes.
The hard part to walk.
I get you.
That's the one we are walking.
But the big question that we are asking here, Wakili, is how united is the opposition?
You see, the question of opposition unity, as I told you, unity on what? At least there's one common refrain. Ruto must go. We are united on that. And we've posed the question as a Fina party. What next?
Okay.
after he has gone. So if we are going to find common ground on the what next, then the unity will also be there.
Okay.
But at this particular point, all I'm saying, we've not yet found common ground on the what next. Because people have not had discussions on the what next and agreed. But if the time comes that people sit down, they agree on the what next, and we feel the what next is about the people and reviving the economy, we will be part of it.
But
if the what next is let's create positions for big men, Safina Party, haiko.
So you'll go separate ways.
We will run
that
on
will result into a divided opposition.
Even if that is what you call a divided opposition, it's okay. That's democracy. Who said the opposition must be in one box? Who said? No. Who asked you that it must be a two-horse race? Who said?
Okay. Nobody said so.
So is there something wrong if we had more candidates on the ballot?
But a very trusted bird tells me here that President William Ruto can beat a disunited
He cannot.
opposition any day, anytime.
Let me tell you, even if, let's say, for example, Matiang'i were to run and using your tribal politics, you will lock the Kisi.
Not mine.
Listen, you will lock the Kisi votes, right? Who will have lost those votes?
Of course.
It's Ruto. If Kalonzo ran as a Kamba candidate, he will lock the Kamba votes. Who will have locked those votes?
Ruto?
Who will have lost? Ruto.
Ruto would have
If
lost.
Gachagua ran as a Kikuyu candidate and he locks the Kikuyu votes, who will have lost? Ruto.
It's still Ruto.
So how will he defeat them? Yeah, he will still be defeated because he'll be locked out of every other region. And then the best two will go for runoff using your tribal calculations. So
Not my tribe.
listen, so William Ruto, you will tell him, okay, you go and run on tribe. He goes and run as a Kalenjin. How many votes will he get?
Okay.
So there's no way he can win. William Ruto is done. As Jimmy said, what next? Him is done. Even if the opposition, 10 people ran from the opposition. They will lock him using the traditional, if you use the tribal arithmetic, they will lock him out of their zones. He will be confined to only one small region. Use the tribal arithmetic. Where will he win? He can't.
So he won't win.
He won't win. And our constitution knew these things are possible. That's why we came up with 50% plus 1.
If every individual can then lock different regions, then why don't you just rally behind one person and then get it done?
No, I'm saying if people don't agree, then the constitution will force you into a single candidate through a runoff system. That's why we have 50% plus 1. So there's no fear. There's nothing wrong, even if the opposition couldn't agree and they all ran. Let the Kenyan people discuss and internalize our ideas then. If we can't agree on our own, let us enrich the debate. Let them agree that who is making sense to our problem, who is giving us tangible promises that we can work on. They will choose that person to be the number 1. And the person making sense number 2 will be number 2. Then the 2 will go to a runoff. And Kenyans will get what they want. And I do believe Safina Party will be that party. Because I've told you we are not going to form a coalition on tribe. This is the first time that ideology is going to trump over tribe. Okay. Kenyans are going to vote on ideology. Kenyans want a change in our politics. The tribal one has brought us here. The problems we are facing today is tribal arithmetics and politicking. Is what has brought us here. Is our life getting any better? No. So,
okay,
you lose nothing by trying something new. Let's try it.
So let's try something new. Well, on our next show, we'll be talking about what next, because you said here that you need to meet as maybe people who seem to be at least united against the president. You told me that at least on that, all of you concur, that all of you want the president out.
At least that's why they are running. That's why they're in political parties.
Okay.
They are running to compete to remove it.
So
So,
next-
yes, that's agreed.
So next, we agree we are talking about what next.
That's
And especially
next.
from
What
your
next
perspective.
conversation? I've told you, Safina Party, economic liberation. As the what next. And
Well-
anybody who wants that what next on economic liberation, Safina Party is open. They don't have to be the big boys. Even everybody in the village, in the towns, townships. That is what we want, a conversation about the people.
Okay.
Come to Safina.
Definitely, we are more than waiting for that conversation. We want to see what is it that you're going to do differently from what has been done and what has been promised to Kenyans over the years by our political class. Of course, you call them the legacy politicians, but you're saying here that we can try something new and it can actually work.
It shall work.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been a good conversation here with Willis Otieno, who is the Deputy Party Leader of Safina Party, and as well as a constitutional lawyer. We've been having this conversation on what is next for the opposition as they try to strategize, even as we move towards 2027 elections. Allow me to stop this conversation at this particular moment. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this family. You can weigh in and tell us what you actually think. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.